This is not your average Super Meteor 650.
Today I'll be riding this tuned Super Meteor 650 across 3 conditions: urban, highway and ghats, with 3 safari bags made for each ride. For the urban test, I'll be using the Safari Aether, perfect for office use with 4 compartments and a dedicated tech section. For the highway blast, the Falcon LED bag, featuring a cool LED strip that I can use to display literally any prompt. And for the ghats, the Safari Aston, with padded straps and 43 liters of space, ideal for weekend getaways. But first, let's see what's been done to this Super Meteor.
With a Powertronic ECU, high lift cams and a custom-made AEW exhaust, the owner claims it to make 62 horsepower. But how is it to live with, and is it worth it? The Super Meteor 650 looks like that quintessential classic roadster in its stock form. But the owner of this Super Meteor has taken inspiration from the Bagger Racing League that happens in the US, which is essentially roadsters like these that are turned into track bikes. That's where this beautiful fairing comes from, with the headlight cover that is 3D printed. You have a sportier front and rear fender, and this is still a work in progress. So the owner is going to fit a more committed set of handlebars and foot pegs from the shotgun, completely changing the ergos of this, and that is pretty exciting if you ask me. But what about its performance side? Time to talk about mods. And this Super Meteor has loads of them, and the owner has spent a pretty penny on them. So let's run through them. Performance clutch plates from Hitchcock UK, 47,000 rupees, not including shipping and import duties. A performance high lift camshaft from SNS from the US, 22,000 rupees, not including import and shipping. A Pro Spec Easy Clutch Pro, pretty useful, 2,600 bucks. A Powertronic ECU with a custom map, 23,500, and a BMC air filter, 8,600 bucks. A Fuel X Pro Plus throttle controller, 12,500 rupees. NGK Iridium spark plugs, 4,900 rupees.
That's not even the end yet. A no noise chain from Roll-On, 3,500 rupees. A sportier front and rear fender from MK Designs, 14,000 rupees. Custom made padded seats, 3,000 rupees. And a Bagger Racing League style front fairing, 16,500 rupees.
And last but definitely not the least, a custom set of AEW mufflers with a custom, claimed by the owner, set of Venturi tunnels right here that can simulate the same amount of back pressure you would get from a GT Cup's exhaust. So he claims to get 7.7 bhp out of this exhaust, which is a little debatable. But one thing you cannot deny, it sounds phenomenal. Take a listen.
Within the first few kilometers, it's clear this isn't your average Super Meteor. The throttle response is now razor sharp, almost like the bike's had a few too many espressos. The Powertronic ECU and throttle controller combo completely changed the way it rides in the city, making every gap in traffic an invitation. But with great power comes slightly twitchy throttle manners. It's not lazy anymore, but it does demand precision. The Seat tires too don't really do well with aggressive throttle inputs. Keep in mind, this has no traction control. Heat, yeah, it's still there because Royal Enfield, but that exhaust note bouncing off the walls makes up for it in every way possible. It's the kind of bike that turns heads and raises eyebrows in equal measure. Now, the Super Meteor 650cc air-cooled parallel twin isn't what you call a fuel-efficient engine, even in its stock form, giving an average of around 25 kilometers to the litre, which means after all of the performance mods, the mileage has taken quite a bit of a hit. You would get an average of around 13 kilometers to the litre in the city and 15 kmpl on the highway, which isn't very useful for longer tours, but thanks to the Fuel X throttle controller, you can set the bike to run leaner, which will help you get around 17 kilometers to the liter. But hey, she's being built to be ripped and pushed, not to tour. Out on the highway, this thing finally gets to stretch its legs, and you can tell it's loving every second of it. The mid-range punch is serious. It pulls like it's chasing something only it can see. And that AEW exhaust adds a rich, throaty soundtrack that makes every overtake feel cinematic. You can sit at 120-130 kilometers an hour all day and it just hums along. Of course, the vibes creep in past that, but that's part of the charm. It reminds you this isn't a soulless speed machine. It's still a Royal Enfield, just one that went to the gym and came back with an attitude.
Swing your leg over the Super Meteor 650 and you're greeted by what I can only explain as it being a lounge seat. It's the most comfortable position I've ever been in a highway. Your foot pegs are nice and far ahead, so your lower half is very relaxed. You have a plushier seat. The owner has added some sort of padding to it, so it's really comfy. And your upper half is very relaxed, upright torso, and your hands are also in a very neutral position. Now, it's not perfect. The mods have made it a little difficult to ride, like in the city when you try to take a tight turn, the bar end mirrors come and hit your thighs. And another thing is those foot pegs, if you're not used to it, it really puts a lot of pressure on your ankle going up and down the gears. So yes, it is a little bit of a commitment to ride at slow speeds, but once you catch some speed, this thing is a proper lounge.
Take it to the hills and things get interesting. The Super Meteor is not exactly born for switchbacks, but this one gives it a real go. The fairing adds a bit more front end feel thanks to the wind passing by it, but that torque, it's addictive on corner exits. You're not flicking it like a naked through a corner, you're flowing through a corner like a heavyweight dancer who somehow knows the rhythm. And once those shotgun pegs go on, the ergonomics are going to completely change from chill cruiser to charge mode. And currently it's not perfect, but it's confident, capable, and oh so characterful. And that's what makes it such a laugh in the hills.
After spending the whole day with this souped up Super Meteor, I think I finally have the answer to is it worth it? Well, it's a personal thing. If you can afford to modify it, well then yes, because this 650 twin, while it might be pretty affordable to buy, well, to mod, it's not that cheap because everything comes up to pretty much superbike prices, and that makes it a little unattainable when you want to search for power. Now, the 62 horsepower is a tall figure and it's a high claim too. I'm pretty sure soon enough we'll get to see it on the dyno, but there is a lot of work to do for it to perform much better. You can get the handlebars, suspension, brakes, and this motorcycle will actually ride much nicer with all of that newfound power. And in my opinion, is it worth it? Well, if you can afford it, then yes, you will be a very happy man. But without it, you're still going to be a very happy man, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on this souped up Super Meteor? Do let us know in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next one.